Hello and welcome to the Booksplosion Book of the Month live show for Warcross by Marie Lu. I'm Kat.
I'm Christine.
I'm Jesse.
We're Booksplosion, and today we are going to be discussing this awesome book right here. Before we get into it, let's do a couple quick announcements. The first...
I got it.
You gotta be real quick. The first is our September book of the month, which I think Jesse is the only one who has a physical copy of it right now. The Lost Book of the White by Cassandra, Clare, and Wesley Chu. This book just came out on September 1st. It is the second book in the Eldest Curses trilogy. Is that what it's called? Yeah. Second book in the Eldest Curses trilogy. We do not yet have a live show date settled for this, but follow our social medias. We will announce it eventually. And then also we have a Dear Booksplosion show coming up on Wednesday, September 16th. It'll be right here on this channel, so you can join in for that. You don't need to read a book for that one. It's a spoiler-free, just a sort of fun live show experience. So yeah, let's talk about Warcross by Marie Lu. This is the first book in a duology, the second book being Wildcard. It's kind of a sci-fi, but only slightly futuristic. Like the futuristic aspects are
really present-ish.
Yeah, it feels like very like a couple of years in the future, maybe,
Yeah,
or like
that's what Marie said.
day, but like in a slightly like parallel universe where we have more advanced technology. Because it does feel like very present with just good virtual reality. And we basically follow a teenage girl, she's 18 years old, named Amika, who is a hacker and a bounty hunter. Like that's kind of how she earns money, by using her hacking skills to track down criminals in the real world and apprehend them. And she ends up kind of accidentally having a hacking mishap that gets her a lot more attention than she bargained for. And instead of getting in a great deal of trouble, like she kind of assumed was going to happen, she gets offered a job by Hideo Tanaka, who is the genius billionaire inventor who created Warcross, this big virtual reality game that like everyone in the world plays. Because it's not just a game, it's also like almost how you interface with the internet these days. And so yeah, she gets offered a job to partake in the Warcross championship, and also try to find out there's another hacker kind of on the loose, and she, being a bounty hunter and a hacker, she gets employed to find out who that hacker is and to stop them from doing something potentially very bad and dangerous to the entire Warcross game. So yeah, that's a basic spoiler-free rundown. Let's talk a little bit about our spoiler-free thoughts now. Christine, do you want to kick us off?
Oh, you're muted.
Hi, sorry. They were doing lawn work outside, so I didn't want it to be in the background. Okay, so I was gonna rewatch my book talk because I just read it a second time with audio, but like it was different from the first time, because the first time I was like, what's happening? But I still loved it. And I just wanted to remember like the specific things the first time that struck me, but sorry, I didn't rewatch it because I was doing dog stuff. Anyway, but I had so much fun listening to the audiobook. It's so good if anyone is interested in doing the audio for like the second book, because it's the same narrator. But I loved it. I had so much fun. I think I might like it better than Legend. Just like the world and stuff, I think is so cool. And I love Amika and Hideo. Like I ship them so hard. And I really want to talk about how the book ended, but I'll wait till we get into a spoiler section. But I think I always talk about how I love Marie Lu's action sequences, and I think that really shines so much when we're in the Warcross game. And I love the team. I love like Asher Wing, and I want to like know how his family lineage comes down from Daniel Wing from, the Legend series. I'm so excited to like finish the second book and see like how it ties, because this is clearly like Antarctica technology. And like this came before that. So like it develops out of this. And my theory, like I remember talking about like, did Hideo like found Antarctica? Like how did that happen? You know, like, is that why that society is like the way it is? Especially after reading Rebel, it was just like, like how did this trickle to this? I loved it, and I'm really excited. I started Wildcard earlier today. So yeah. Jessup.
Yes, I go. I really liked it as well. It's been a long time since I've read a Marie Lu book, and I was just like, I forgot how like good she is at writing. Like she has a cinematic style. Like you can just visualize it so well. Like Christine said, the action scenes are just chef's kiss. Like they're just done so well, and they're just like so visually pleasing. And I think like that's like one of the big things for me was just how visually pleasing the book was. Like I just loved like all the different like backgrounds we got throughout the story. Like I just loved all the visuals, like the game visuals. Being in Japan, I had no idea this book took place in Japan. That made me super happy when I started reading it. I would have read it sooner had I known that. I will say I was expecting a little bit more of a punch in terms of the plot. Like I still really liked the plot, but I just was kind of expecting to be more surprised by different things, and I felt like things were a little bit predictable. But also, I haven't read Wildcard, so like my opinion could change after reading Wildcard. But I just want.
Okay, I can't ask you any questions yet.
We'll get to the spoiler part.
Specifics on the predictability.
Okay, but yeah, that's my thoughts. I really liked it.
I really agree with a lot of what Jesse just said. Because one of the things that was like very slightly underwhelming was that there were a couple things that were predictable and that I kind of was expecting more. Like I had a couple like wild theories that I was like so sure we were gonna get something really surprising and shocking, and it ended up just being kind of like as soon as something was mentioned, I had a theory, and then that ended up being right, and it just seemed kind of like easy. Except for the thing at the end, which we'll talk more in details about. Like that was an interesting surprise, and like that's what really like got me hooked and excited for the next book. But I love Marie Lu's writing. She's so good at action sequences and like really bringing you into the moment and just painting these really vivid sequences. And also I love her world building. Like the world of Warcross is so cool. I love how the technology, like how people interact with it and how just everything is incorporated in little small ways. It's so fun and so interesting. I love her worlds and it was just a really fun, vibrant book. And it was like good throughout. And then the ending is what like really bumped it up another notch for me and was just like, I need to read Wildcard immediately. But I finished it an hour ago. So I didn't have time to start it yet. But I'm going Wildcard.
Okay. So we're gonna jump into spoilers. So, okay. So for the predictability thing, now that you say it, I think I remember being like underwhelmed by who else was working for Zero. Like I remember thinking like Ren can't be it. It's so obvious, like the DJ guy and like all that stuff. But like I didn't care because this book stepped the romance up for Marie Lu like way. I feel like a lot of levels up from Legend. Like I just was like, oh my god, these romantic scenes, like I'm living for this. And like this like secret romance with Hideo, and then like it leaks out and it's like, oh my god.
How old was Imika, by the way? I couldn't remember.
Amika is 19, I think. She's 18 or 19.
I think she's 18.
Yeah. I think she's like almost 19. I feel like I feel like when I talked to Marie, I like some reason thought she was 19. But because I interviewed Marie about this right after I read it, so it was like so exciting because I got to ask her all like the questions before Wildcard had come out. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, so like I love how at the end all of a sudden this romance gets so complicated because like that trip to his parents' house really wins you over, doesn't it? Like it was so sweet. And it's just like, did you see that coming, that big end thing with the Neuralink? Because I remember that scene when they were like at his house when he first did it. I was like, what the hell is going on? Like they're sharing feelings? What do you think?
You go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
Jesse.
Go. Wait, go ahead, Kat.
Okay. Yeah, the thing with the parents when she went to his parents' house, that really kind of removed any suspicions from him being a bad guy because he was so authentic and genuine, and he seemed to like really care about her being there. And I still don't think he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
He's just
he's that billionaire God complex where he thinks he knows them better than everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like it's a really interesting question of morality between our two opposing sides that you really could like debate either perspective. But we can talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, so that kind of took a lot of suspicion off of him of like being a bad guy. But yeah, as far as the predictability stuff goes, what the big one was Ren. As soon as he like wasn't there at the draft, and then like someone else was like up in the rafters, I was like, oh, so Ren is either Zero or like working for Zero. And then as soon as we found out that his brother seriously disappeared and they never found the body, I was like, oh, so he's definitely still alive and he's probably Zero.
Yeah.
Like those elements like were predictable and like
you're like so convinced that Ren wasn't the person. Like I was just like waiting for something else to come up.
It's too easy. If like as soon as we got to the point, like it must be Ren, I was like, so it's not Ren.
I just quickly say, like, I'm not looking at the chat right now because I saw someone saying like wildcard spoilers. Please don't spoil wildcard. We haven't read it yet. Please. Okay, because then we'll be able to read your questions because I'm afraid to look over there. Okay, go ahead, Kat.
I was done.
Okay,
Jesse.
I don't know why I just thought of this wild theory, and it could be really like way too out there. But like, what if Hideo was manipulating his parents though, and like they weren't actually his parents, and like they're lying?
I was thinking about that this time around.
And also, like he had to have manipulated his own memory too to make it look better for when he was showing it to Amika.
He did do it like so many times over and over again. There's something that he's not sharing.
Yeah. So like he's like sure he does look like a good guy when they go to see his parents, but it could be because he's manipulating the whole situation.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about this time. I was like, his mom and her mind and like his dad and like how old they look and like, you know, it could be because they've like gone through this whole thing, but like it's suspicious now that we know that he can control people's minds basically with his mom.
And also questions about what exactly happened to his brother. Like he was only like 7 years old when he disappeared, so like what has he been doing for the last 10 plus years? Like what exactly happened to get him to this position?
I was kind of wondering if like maybe his brother had created Neuralink and then he like got rid of his brother or something and like took over and like took all the credit for Neuralink and was like, I created it.
He was 9. He was baby.
But it could have been later and he could have gone back and like made up this whole story. Like I don't know. I'm just like
that just doesn't sound like, because we need him to be redeemable. I feel like in the first chapter, this isn't a spoiler, but like in the first chapter of Wildcard, she's talking about how like he helped her when she was at like her lowest point, and like she needs to save him from himself right now. And I think that like that's kind of where we're going with this, because if he's completely evil and like manipulated everything, it's kind of like that sucks.
I don't want to believe that. Like I feel like he's misguided, but not a bad guy.
Yeah, you're right.
And like I don't think he knows that Sasuke is still alive, because
I don't
like
think he does either. I think that's like his driving cornerstone of life. And I think that's maybe what drove. Sorry. Sorry. No, I was just saying I think that's what drove him in general, maybe to even do the Neuralink, because he doesn't want bad things to happen to people, and he feels like such a bad thing happened to his family and it could have stopped if he had this algorithm.
Okay.
Yeah, it poses a really interesting question about like free will versus like, you know, what if if you're stopping people from committing crimes, like there is the question of like what constitutes as a crime, like how, like what minor things versus what major things. But like if you make it so people aren't allowed to like murder and rape and like do all the like most horrible things, like that is like fueled by a positive sort of like desire to not see that in the world. But then there's the question of, like, but it takes away people's free will. But like, do people deserve to have free will and do that kind of thing?
Well, then like Amika brings up, like if it was out right now, like people wouldn't be able to protest the way that they're protesting. Like it's if anything's against the law, it's against the algorithm. And if the law is unjust, there's no way to protest it. So it's like this cycle of injustice that starts to happen, and then like you're living in like a dictatorship.
The worst people are going to find ways around it anyways, and they're still going to be able to do the worst things. It's just that like no one else is going to, they're just going to be like helpless to the system. Yeah.
Well, right now nobody knows what's going on. Like nobody knows. It's like this unawareness is like the secret to it working, because people don't know why people are going to be like not doing things, like not committing crimes.
Was it solidified that like he can't see the people who are using the dark world?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Like, can he see the people who are using the dark world?
Why?
Or is that like blocked? Like he can't see that?
Who is he?
Hideo. Sorry.
I feel like no, because I feel like he doesn't have any control over that.
Yeah, I feel like the dark world's its own thing. But like maybe they won't be able to go into the dark world because that'll be against the law.
Yeah. It'll be interesting how that plays out.
Yeah.
Shut down? Like I don't know.
Wait, but is the dark world in Warcross?
No, the dark world is just in the internet. It's just like
okay.
I think that utilizes that technology, but like the standard thing is the internet. Like it's using the web, but it's its own thing. That's what I think.
Okay.
That makes.
Well, I was confused, but in the last tournament, she finds herself in the dark world?
Well, Zero takes her there, doesn't he? Or something? She glitches. I can't remember.
She's not in the dark world, but she's like glitched out of.
She's glitched out of the game.
Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why I'm even bringing it up. I'm just like curious.
What I'm kind of confused about is that like, so with the contacts, like she's already worn them, and so has everybody.
Yeah.
But she said she's like going to go back to wearing her beta glasses, but they said that there's a film in the contacts that like soaks the algorithm into you. So it's like, I'm reading the first chapter of Warcross, and Wildcard, I'm a little confused because she's saying like we're safe until there's an update that's coming for the glasses so that they'll have it too, but they have like 4 days or something. And so I don't know, maybe you have to be wearing the contacts for a certain amount of time for it to like soak into you. I don't know how that works. Like the film.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to see. But
the question that you kind of posed at the end of like, even if people know this, like, are they gonna stop using it? Like how many people are just gonna be like, I can't live without my Warcross, and like keep wearing them.
That's what I really love about this. It ties into the other series in such a fascinating way. And I love when that happens. Like, because clearly that technology does go on. And like, who fixes it? Does Hideo fix it? Like, does he come to his senses and like, alter it just so like it creates this government system instead of this like radical, intense algorithm that just like is a free-for-all controlling people, how does I just feel like Antarctica has to be at the end of it. Like it has to shift to that. Maybe he's
it'll be interesting to see how
exiled. Maybe he's like he's exiled from like the country.
Maybe.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
No.
So I want to share with you guys my crackpot theory about who I thought Zero was for the entire freaking book? So there's the famous pop star, Frankie Dina, who her name is dropped like a bunch of times in the beginning, and we find out, and we know she has a very close relationship with Ren. So the entire time, I'm like, Zero is Frankie Dina. Zero is this pop star who somehow has like all these connections and this big platform and knows Ren, and especially when Amika was in the dark world and was like kept referring to him as he and was like very sure it was a he. I was like, but you don't know that. Like it's this pop star.
I was wondering that too, the he thing, yeah.
Whose name was dropped like 5 times in the first like 100 pages of the book. As just like in the background, I was like, this is a clue. This is something. I was like, I put the pieces together. And then it wasn't that at all. And I was very disappointed.
Just for in the comments, we're not spoiling Legend. Antarctica is not a spoiler at all. It's just a country that pops up. But Kat, did you read A Beautifully Foolish Endeavor?
Not yet.
Okay, I thought that's maybe what it was like. Okay, never mind. No spoilers. But yeah, I didn't even like pick up on that name. It flew past me.
I was just like, she was name dropped so many times in the first like couple chapters, and I was like, so she's a very important character then. Like we're laying groundwork for her to be important later on. I was sure of it.
Maybe when I like read it with my eyes, but with my ears, it went.
Also, Kat, I really want you to try out rainbow hair now.
The thing is, it's impossible to maintain.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's really
difficult. Lasts like a couple days.
And when Amika was like, she's like, even though she's like broke, like she still maintains her hair. I was like, girl, you must be dyeing your hair like every few weeks to maintain it. The different colors fade, and like, is she getting it professionally done? Because dyeing your own hair
technology that like keeps it in.
That's valid. There could be kind of, let's just say there's hair technology, and that makes it easier to maintain. But the entire time, I was like, how is she maintaining this for more than 3 days at a time?
Yeah, I mean, like in the first, I keep referencing the first chapter wildcard because she just says she's wearing if you're wearing your glasses, you don't see her normal hair because she's like doesn't want to be recognized. But she's not doing that with her normal hair, obviously, because she talks about maintaining. But she could do that if she wanted to, which is cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so should we talk favorite scenes? What do you guys want to talk about?
I wanted to mention, I was wondering if like her past was going to play a bigger role in things, because like I know it was kind of helping shape out her character and you get to know her a little bit more, but I thought that maybe something was going on with the dad and maybe he was connected in some way to something that was going on, but I like couldn't really make any connection.
I had like crackpot theories up the ass about her mom. Like I think her mom was Zero at one point. Like I was just like, and I remember I asked Marie and she was like, I don't think so. But like I don't know if that would throw me off.
Right.
I was like, is her mom gonna come into play? Like, because she left. Because she is an open end, like, because she just left them.
Yeah. And I'm really intrigued by that too. For a second, I thought like maybe her mom was the famous pop star because like there was a mention of, like her having a.
Kat just like that completely stuck on this pop star.
There's something going on with this pop star. I swear.
That's so funny.
Who is she? What is her story? No, but I do think the mom could make an appearance or could come back into play. Just for the sake of like, we find out that Sasuke is still alive and then he comes back and he's Zero. Like, so the mom is still out there. She's going to come back and be someone.
What if, this is okay, I can't theory, but what if, I'm just thinking about it this time, what if her mom is Hideo's mom and she was unfaithful, had Hideo and like went back to his family and had that second child and they're related?
No.
I don't want that to happen. So
I don't
nope.
want it to happen either. So no thanks.
I just thought it was fun. In a bad way, but like
Bad way.
twist.
Oh man.
But yeah, I'm waiting for her mom to come into. I feel like she can't just not show up.
No, yeah, 100%. She's probably going to be in wild card.
Yeah. And I feel like whenever authors don't answer my questions, they're like, no, about things that like feel like a plan. I'm just like, suspicious. Cassie has done that to me now, and then it's like panned out to be something. I was like,
So yeah, let's talk about what were your guys' favorite scenes. Any standout scenes that you really enjoyed?
I just really liked the first tournament. Just the way it was written.
The dragon.
Like we said earlier, like just the way she writes action, she just does it so well that it's just so easy to like see everything go down. Like not everybody can write action scenes like that. Like sometimes it's like just too convoluted or whatever. But I don't know. She just excels so well at writing the action scenes. So that stood out to me.
Yeah, like everything, because a lot of books you read an action sequence and you're just like, what the hell's going on? Like you can feel and see everything she's saying. It feels grounded in like a world that you can see. My favorite, I love that dragon scene. I remember like the first time I read it, I was like, holy shit. And I love like there's like 3 scenes that stood out that I remembered before going into this book that I was looking forward. The dragon scene, the scene in the hot tub, and the scene when she goes over to his house after there was that assassination attempt and they're like making out on the couch and they do the Neuralink. So yeah,
I like those as well. I also liked the scene at the nightclub. Just a couple of the interactions. Like first her interaction with Hideo, where he was like clearly flirting with her, and she's like, "He's making fun of me," and it's like, no, he's flirting with you.
That's what we
and also her interaction with the other team, with Tremaine and whatever the other Demon Brigade members, who they were like sizing her up, and she was like playing dumb a little bit. Because I like it when characters underestimate our protagonist, and our protagonist is like playing with that. So that was a really fun part for me.
I hope we get more like interactions with the side characters in the next one, because I feel like I needed more of that in this one as well. Like there were some nice interactions, but I just wanted a little bit more from that.
Were you guys suspicious AF of Kenny? Like Ken? I'm just like, Ken. I am so, I just came off creepy to me off the bat because he was like so weirdly like nice and like amiable and like, oh, don't mind him. But it's like, Ken, why would you let this happen? How could you let Hideo do this? Like if you're his confidant and his like best friend and the person that he goes to for everything, like, what are you doing? Letting him do this Neuralink thing. And I'm wondering like how much influence he has on him and like if he's in on this project with him and where he falls and everything.
Yeah,
I'm curious about who all is in the know about this, because like he's not doing it all by himself.
Yeah.
And the thing about maybe he is. But the thing about Ken is if he is in the know, then that makes him even more suspicious because of how nice and how like unassuming he is. It gives it a really like manipulative edge that it's like, I really don't trust you now.
Yeah, I did not trust him from the beginning. And something else I was just gonna say. Fork. Oh, do you think that she is going to team up with Zero? And like, do you think Zero is actually the brother, or do you think Zero is like someone just using that name as something to like trigger, this response?
I mean, I don't know. I think we have to wait and see as far as the teaming up goes, but she needs to go at least talk to him and like get more information about the situation. Like if he is Sasuke, we need to know what happened to him, why he got this, what happened between the brothers.
That's gonna be a story.
So we definitely she's gonna go to him. I don't know if it's gonna be like to team up with him as much as it is like get information and to try to figure out where to go from there. Because I feel like she might end up having to stop both of them because they're both kind of handling this in the wrong way.
Well, my theory.
Yeah, what's your theory?
With these brothers is that we might be looking at a Vampire Diaries sort of situation where like Zero is like, he comes off as this like violent, dangerous guy, and then we're gonna see that maybe he actually all along wasn't behind the violent stuff, or like something else was going on, and like there's gonna be like a redeemable excuse for like what happened with these bombings, and then she's gonna like having a thing over there.
I can really see that. Especially because like no one died when he blew up the dorm.
Yeah, it was like specifically no one died.
Yeah, and I feel like he definitely could have killed people in that, like if he wanted to. Like I feel like it was very strategically not deadly.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm curious about like why he feels the need to assassinate Hideo. Like why do we need to kill him? Why is there not another way to stop him?
Yeah, and maybe like
what's driven him to that point.
Yeah, maybe also like, you know, maybe he wants to kill him, but he actually doesn't want to kill him. Maybe like that's a front for what he's doing. You know, who knows what he's trying to manipulate in this situation and why. There's so much mystery there, but yeah, I feel like it's a brother relationship, and I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, it could also be he just wants to stop him. Like even the assassination attempt when the bodyguard got injured, the bodyguard didn't get killed. He got like shot in his shoulder. So like maybe he was just trying to scare him away, and it was meant to be a failed assassination from the beginning. That was the intentions.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see Zero being like the hero.
Like the love train hero.
God, okay. I want to read Wild Card like right now.
I'm excited to see where that goes, but like to me it feels so like a setup for like a really fun hate to love triangle where there's like the brothers hate each other but they love each other, and like and all three of them, I love that.
I'm kind of nervous though because Wildcard seems so short compared to this one.
It does. It does. I'm wondering like if it was everything had to be shrunken down to one book.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of like how, that's how I felt like Legend ended. Everything kind of compacted into that last book.
Yeah.
I hope that's not how it goes. We'll see.
Yeah.
But I'm like more in it for like this relationships than I am for like that.
Right, I get that.
I like the hacking part.
I like it too, but I'm definitely like more curious about how the relationships are gonna fall with these like stakes up in the air.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about the actual game of Warcross, because it's just like a really fun sort of capture the flag.
Yeah.
What team role would you guys want to play? Like if you were one of the members on this team, what position would you want?
I feel like thief. I can't remember exactly what the thief does right now.
They steal the gem, right?
They steal like the flag, right?
They kind of that, and also they go after power-ups.
Yeah, they go after power-ups.
Yeah.
That's what Hammy is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. But I'd probably just be like the captain. Because I don't think I'd be good enough at being the thief.
I feel like Architect would be really fun, but I also feel like it'd be a lot of pressure and it'd be really hard.
Yeah, I think the Architect is a lot of strategy, and you have to be really good.
Yeah. So I guess Shield, maybe? I feel like Shield would be something I'd be good at, maybe. I don't know.
I think I would want to be a fighter because, like, that's just
Wow, we're all taking different ones.
like, just give me a sword and like let me go.
We could build a team.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'll take the captain role. Let's do it. But yeah, no, it's really cool, and I like how it kind of feels like their heist squad, because I feel like they might do a heist in the next book.
Ooh, that would be fun.
Like, it'd be cool to see how these translate into like real life.
Yeah, I want to see more of that, because we got a little bit of that at the end where they're at the auction and like Amika finally ropes in the other team members to help her, but it was just a little smidgen, and I would love to see them do something more elaborate, like a heist, and have them their roles and like their specialties. Like, that would be really fun.
And that was like in the dark world. Like, I want to see it in like the real physical world. It would be really fascinating to see like how these skills translate, you know? Yeah. Like in the real physical world, like Zero and Hideo are just people. But they still, like, Hideo could still do shit. Like when Hideo just like brings up circles in the real world, I'm like,
like Doctor Strange, kind of.
Yeah. But like, of course, it's like with the glasses on. So when they take the glasses away, like, what then?
Yeah.
Oh, are they gonna shut down all the glasses so that like everyone can't use it while they fix this? That's probably what's gonna happen.
Well, they're gonna have to, yeah.
Everyone's gonna go dark, and it's gonna be like chaos.
Yeah, because it's so ingrained in everyone's lives now.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine if the internet just went down for them to, like, in general, like, it would be madness.
Yeah. Be crazy. And then everyone's gonna realize, like, this is really. Have you guys watched Kingsman yet?
I've seen the first one.
You should. Yeah. So in Kingsman, there's like a plot line that kind of really reminded me of what's going on here, and I just like want to see. I want to see how this one pans out in comparison. You should watch Kingsman. It's so fun, Joseph.
I want to. Yeah.
Yeah, even I've seen that movie and I really like it. And I don't watch movies.
I feel like I pushed it on you for a long time.
It was one of the ones on the list that you gave me of movies I need to watch. It was good. I really liked it.
Yeah. Okay. Who was your favorite side character?
I liked all of them. Like, we didn't spend a ton of time like getting to know all of them, but I really liked, especially everyone on the Phoenix Riders team. I really liked Rashawn. He seemed really nice, and
Me too.
There's an interesting dynamic with him and Tremaine, how they're like exes and there's weird tension between them, but they don't hate each other. Like, what exactly happened there?
Yeah.
And then Hannah was really fun. I really liked her.
I feel like Ash was kind of a standout for me. But again, I feel like I needed more from the side characters personally. So, but
Ash was interesting because, like, the way he picked Amika first, like, he had done some research on her as well. Looked at her games, like, you're a much better player than like your game history shows, because she spends so much time like playing not under her like actual name. So he's an interesting strategist. I'd like to know more about him, and again, like, also his family. What's going on with that? That would be interesting.
Okay, this is another thing in the first chapter.
The first chapter of that.
Ash, Rashawn says this crack at like Ash about like you've always looked out for Amika's best interests, and he's like gives him a look like don't say anything, and it's like, what the hell did you do? like going off of what you said, like him picking her first, like what? There's something more there that we're gonna learn.
Asher, wasn't he one of the ones who, like, when Amika appeared in the game, like, she appeared right in front of him? Like, he was the one who was, like, looking right at her?
Maybe.
And there's also that moment where when he first meets Amika and she's like, yeah, I know of you from your brother. And he's like, oh, and he like makes a face like, great, you know of me.
Oh, his brother's a celebrity.
Through his celebrity brother, yeah.
Yeah. Like an actor or something, right?
Yeah, famous actor.
No, never mind. I was saying his brother was the pop star, but is the pop star a boy or a girl?
I think a girl.
Okay. I couldn't remember.
I think like Legend is only supposed to be like 100 years in the future or something, right? Wasn't it like?
I feel like it was in the 2100s.
I can look it up.
Because like, it's interesting.
Yeah.
But I just got so distracted thinking about like how that connects. Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, favorite side character.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Hammy too, and I'm interested to see just more of them in the next book. I think they're going to be like a team throughout the next book.
I'd like to see more of Tremaine as well, because like,
yeah, we do get more of him in the first chapter.
Good. Because he was an interesting character. I'm also curious, there, aside from Amika, there were, I think it was mentioned, there were 2 other bounty hunters. So Tremaine was one of them. Who was the other bounty hunter?
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, are you going to tell her who the rest were? Like, I don't understand why you haven't yet. I don't understand why you didn't tell her right off the bat, you know, like this person is also this person. Like, why does that have to be a secret?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm also interested to see more of Ren. To find out how Ren got involved with Zero and like what exactly Ren knows. And that whole encounter he had with Amika where he was like kind of warning her and kind of threatening her. Like, I'm just very curious about Ren as well.
Yeah, I feel like we didn't get to know him like much at all. I was very confused about that. Like, Ren was the big confusion point for me in this book. Like, why is he the bad guy? Like, why is it so obvious? What's going on with him?
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the big thing is like, why is it so obvious? So it can't be as obvious as it seems.
Yeah.
Like, automatically where the brain goes.
Yeah. Definitely.
I couldn't find what your legend.
It's okay. I think I asked her in person.
Yeah.
I have an idea in my head. Hi, Mackenzie. Jesse, did you say your favorite side character?
Yeah, Ash, but I also have to agree with this person, the Soda robot. I can't remember its name. It had a name, though.
Yeah, it did have a name. People in the chat, do you have cues?
What was it?
Wiki. The robot name was Wiki.
What was it?
Wiki.
Oh, cool. Cool. Yeah, should we ask the chat if they have any related discussion points?
If you have any questions, let us know. And
or like favorite scenes, or like things you want to discuss.
Your favorite characters. Do you have any theories? Let us know your theories.
Yeah, but don't spoil the next book, please.
Yeah, if you've read Wildcard, you're not allowed to. Well, you can talk, but just don't spoil anything.
Only about the first chapter.
Only the first chapter.
The first chapter holds so much.
Oh, man. Yeah, Christine really wants that love triangle to happen.
I do.
I mean, I do too, because it's delicious, you know. It has the brotherly rivalry, and like they're on 2 different sides, and she's torn between brothers.
Oh, I
love that.
Warcross was just picked up to be turned into a TV show.
Oh, I saw that the other day too.
That's super exciting. I feel like it's definitely gonna. I mean, it would adapt well if they do it well. But good question. I can look it up really quick because I saw Marie Lou posted it. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I don't remember who it was. I just remember vaguely seeing it.
would you or would you not want to live in the Warcross world? I would not. Like immediately, I was like, I don't like this world where people like are constantly in these glasses.
I'm into it. I would like it. I would want to be a hacker in the Warcross world.
You would excel at that.
You are the hacker.
So it was picked up by Bruna Papandreou's Made Up Stories, John Cameron Options novel. The same people that are behind Big Little Lies, Legion, and Fargo.
Oh.
So
yeah, so they're probably developing it and then like have to sell it to a network.
Yeah, but it's still exciting.
Yeah, no, it's very exciting. I'm excited for all the shows. There's so many books I feel like that have been picked up during this period that we've heard about. Yeah. That's like all the shows are coming.
I'm excited but nervous for all the usual reasons.
Yeah, exactly. As you should be.
Yeah.
Also, this is like irrelevant to Warcross, but The Kane Chronicles by Rick Riordan was just picked up on Netflix.
Yeah, movies. They're doing movies.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's gonna be a cartoon or not. Like he didn't say.
Yeah.
But doesn't it feel like a cartoon?
I think it kind of does, actually. I haven't even read it, but I feel like it just has that feel.
It does. I tried to read it, and I kept imagining a cartoon. That's why I stopped reading it. I was just like, I can't see this in real life.
Oh, how does this compare to other virtual reality stories for you? Example, Ready Player One, Spy Kids 3.
I hate Spy Kids 3.
I love it for like nostalgic reasons, but it was like my least favorite in the trilogy of
I wanted to like throw up in that movie theater. Like, why is this so bad? I love it too. What is happening?
I can't believe like the randomness of Elijah. What's his name? The Lord of the Rings guy.
Elijah Wood.
Yeah, how he was in that movie randomly. I'm just like, what are you doing here? It's Spy Kids 3.
I didn't even know that. Paul puts that like randomly, or like, because he was like of the age, like younger than me, that he could like enjoy Spy Kids 3, but I was in there like, what the fork is this? And it was with those horrible like red and blue glasses.
Yeah, 3D glasses.
Good ones.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I couldn't even watch it. I was like, this is terrible. This is terrible the whole time.
I didn't watch it, so I don't even know what Spy Kids 3 is about.
So like you were a little above the age. I was too old for it, but I went. Paul was like peak age. Jesse was probably like still okay. I could watch it.
Yeah. I had a Spy Kids 2 birthday, so I was obsessed with Spy Kids 2.
I loved the pigtails that could like make you fly. I wanted that.
As far as comparing it to Ready Player One, I feel like the virtual reality part is kind of similar in that it's like a really immersive world, but Ready Player One's world is a lot more depressing. Like this one is just like virtual reality alongside our current reality, whereas in Ready Player One, it's like the world sucks.
Yeah.
And so everyone escapes to virtual reality. And like Ready Player One, the world is just like formatted around the guy who made it. Like it's all his favorite shit and stuff. Like it just feels so narcissistic.
The book is better. The book is
better. Okay. I haven't.
Not the movie.
I haven't read the book. But yeah, I think I like Warcross better.
Yeah.
From what I know from the movie.
I actually feel like you would really like the book Ready Player One because of all the like 80s movies references and like stuff like that. But
well, like, I mean, like I didn't grow up in the 80s, so like
I know, but like you've watched a lot of like movies from the 80s, right?
I mean, like not as much. Like when I was watching it, like I hate that movie that was.
Don't watch Ready Player One.
Yeah, I don't know. I have watched some, but like I feel like I'm not as in with the 80s references as I am with like other stuff. I know, you know.
In the know with pop culture though is more so. Like,
yeah, I'm biased because I hated the movie. That is why I just felt the movie was so counterintuitive because the whole point of it was to go outside, and he was like, he made this whole thing that was so hard that you had to spend so many hours in the game. I was just like, what was the point?
The book is better. My opinion on the book has been a little bit lowered after seeing some critical reviews about how like misogynistic it is. Okay. So I can't give it like a glowing recommendation. But I haven't even seen the movie, and I'll tell you it's better than the movie.
Yeah, I have to. I'm being mean to it without having read the book, which is like I shouldn't do that.
No, it's okay. Trying to think of like other things that it's like we read Other Earth, Other World, Other Earth.
Oh yeah. I still like this better.
Yeah, that one was more of like they were stuck in the virtual world.
Because they were like gathering people for this like test.
Yeah.
Where, like you just live in the game. You cannot get out. So they just had like test tubes and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't think there was like a game aspect of that necessarily. Like it was just like an online world.
There were levels and stuff. Like there was a regular game that people play, and then there was the new version of it, which was like you can play it like if you're in a coma, you're in this game.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Either way, it was a lot scarier. I like the Warcross virtual reality. That's like the kind you want to play with. Like,
this is a game that like you could pop in and pop out. Like the other one was like you get stuck in this and you can die in it because like you can't get out, you can't eat, and you can't like you're like pissing yourself and stuff because you're stuck in the game.
Like your body like hooked up to something to like stay alive.
Yeah.
Any particular reason you guys picked Warcross now? It came out 3 years ago, so why did it spark your interest now?
Because we wanted to read the second one.
Yeah, we want to read the second one. Also, it's nice to read older books because more people have read them, so it's like more people can join in on the discussion and stuff. So
yeah, which is always fun.
And when we were talking about, we're just like, what's a book that we all want to read? What's something that, especially if we're not doing a sponsored one, because those are usually more recent books, then we like going for like backlist books that more people have access to. Because like the book's been out for a couple of years, so it's in more libraries and it's more accessible. And like we know that we love Marie Lu, so like we're always down to read more books by her.
Did you guys read Marie Lu's like villain, like anti-hero villain trilogy? I can't remember the name of it.
I read the first one.
I read the first one as well.
Thought.
I didn't love it as much.
But yeah, it's not as fun. It has like a much darker edge to it, which is fun in its own way. But it's more of like a villain origin story.
Like more fantastical, and I prefer like it was less actiony and more like world building, and like there was a plague and these people have abilities and it takes place in a more fantastical world.
And I also feel like I only read the first book, although I did want to continue and read the whole trilogy. It's just I read the first book when it first came out, and then like I just didn't have like enough steam to like keep reading it as each book came out, and I just never got around to it. And my TBR has 10,000 books on it, so
yeah. I heard that it got really good in the second and third book. And I just never got back to it because, again, it's like a fantasy world, so you don't want to go into it without remembering everything from the first one.
Yeah,
I didn't like the love interest as much either. I think like the romance didn't get me as much, so I wasn't as hooked.
Typical. All right. Well, I think that's all we really have to discuss today. Good discussion, though.
Yeah. Thank you all for joining us for this regional show. Am I echoing? No, live discussion. Thank you for joining us for Warcross. Next month, we will be reading The Lost Book of the White by Cassandra, Clare, and Wesley Shue. Tune in to our social medias for our live show announcement for that. Although we might also know it by the next Dear Booksplosion live show, which is happening on Wednesday. So come back for that too. But yeah, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. I'm Kat.
I'm Christine.
I'm Jesse. We're Booksplosion.